My name is Anna, and I'm a technician, a doctorate technician at UniMS, and I'm here on behalf of Isabel Abreu, which unfortunately couldn't make it today. UniMS is actually a joint commission between two Portuguese institutions, the ITQB and iBET, and our mission is to provide state-of-the-art MS services for academia and industry, and training for independent users for certain equipment. And we do this already for different units, such as GreenIT and iNova for Health, most micro as well. And we are part of the Portuguese mass spectrometry network, which provides different types of MS services across Portugal. So to be able to help researchers in their research questions, we've equipped ourselves with different instruments. And we've been evolving in terms of services and instruments that we acquired. So we started with just 2 LCQ, and since 2013, UniMS, which started UniMS as it is, we've acquired the triple TOF with the possibility for nano LC-MS analysis that we use mainly for proteomics. In 2017, we've acquired the capillary electrophoresis instrument, the CSI 8000 Plus, which can work as a standalone instrument for protein analysis, as well as coupled to the triple TOF MS. And we mainly use this for protein analysis as well. Then by the end of 2017, we've acquired the Q-Exactive Orbit Trap through the ONEDA project. And here we started to develop our metabolomics services. In 2018, we've updated our MALDI TOF, which now has imaging capabilities. And we also acquired the X500B QTOF, which is now more used for biological analysis, such as antibodies. And finally, in 2019, we've acquired the Q-Trap, which is more for our targeted services for its increased selectivity. So as you can see, we've started more focused on proteomics, and then we are starting now to develop our metabolomics services. So these instruments enable us to offer different types of services, such as protein identification and quantification, fragmentation profiling, and intact protein measurement, as well as small molecule mass measurements. And more recently, their identification and quantification. Specifically for metabolomics, we have untargeted and targeted workflows, and relative quantification and absolute workflows, especially in the last case for absolute quantification for organic acids and vitamins. So these services translate into different applications, such as post-translational modification characterization, quantification of proteins and metabolites, as I mentioned, as well as intact mass measurements of protein complexes and many others. So moving on to our workflows, for the proteomics parts, we usually receive our samples as cell lysates or purified proteins. Then we can perform gel for separation, and also digestion of the proteins and the cleanup. And then depending on the application or the sample complexity or the sample amount, even we can choose different instruments of our portfolio. As I mentioned, these include the triple TOF with the nano LC, the X500B QTOF, and the multi-TOF TOF. We also provide then the data analysis that includes protein identification, but also sample comparison if it's a quantitative approach, for instance, for swath analysis, and also statistical analysis afterwards. For the metabolomics services, we usually only perform simple sample preparation, such as filtration or metabolite extraction through precipitation. Then we inject the samples in our UHPLC system, and we offer different types of columns for different types of separations, which depend on the application and also on the metabolites to be analyzed. Then we get the MS data is acquired with our QExecutive Orbitrap, which give us the necessary high resolution, high mass accuracy. And then the data is analyzed through Compound Discover if it's an untargeted experiment, and if it's a more targeted experiment, then we do it manually. This is just an example of some of the services that we commonly provide, which is the untargeted analysis of culture media. And this is just to show you a little bit of what we do. So in this case, we use two different columns. They are complementary. So the C18 and the amide column. And these are complementary in the sense that we can get different identifications of different metabolites from each one. As you can see in the Venn diagram in the left, there are 20 additional metabolites that we were able to identify in these samples by running in a C18 column that we weren't able to identify using just the amide column. And on the other hand, there's additional 48 metabolites that we were able to identify only in the amide column. Having said this, there are still things that we like to develop further in our workflow, such as increase our sample preparation capabilities to be able to handle tissues, but also to analyze the intercellular metabolome. We'd also like to include other pathways and other metabolites to our portfolio of analysis, such as lipids. We'd also like to increase our column portfolio, or instead of using more versatile columns, to be able to get more high throughput analysis. And we would also like to maximize the capabilities of our QExecutive by using different types of MS methods. And lastly, also improve our data analysis in the use of complementary softwares, for example, metabolite-specific softwares, or more quantitation-oriented softwares, for instance, for absolute quantitation, as well as more pathway-oriented softwares. These developments that we like to do, and we are doing, will enable us to expand our metabolomics service portfolio, and maybe in the future we can offer a more high throughput discovery methods and services, as well as the measurement of intercellular metabolites, as well as in tissues, and include more pathways and more metabolites in the targeted analysis and absolute quantitation analysis, such as lipids and amino acids, etc. finally, I would just like to show you how you can access this service. So you can first contact us at unims.directions or unims.technicians. Then we can schedule an optional appointment just to discuss the workflow and conditions and to delineate the budget. Then you deliver your samples and we perform the data acquisition. This can be done with the researcher or scientist or not present, and we will then process the data and analyze it, and this can be complemented with the scientist as well. Just quickly, I would like to show you our team. So we have our users direction with Ana Luisa Simplicio and Isabela Abreu from ITQB, as well as Patricia Alves from iBET. And these are the technicians, including me. And then we also have Catarina, São, Ricardo, and Bruno. So finally, I thank you for your attention, and I hope we can collaborate soon. Thank you.